they are in the standings to keep this team motivated and remind them they are professionals, and your job is to go out there and play with intensity even after a 2.5 hour plus rain delay. Here comes Anthony DeSclafani to the mound.
You know, we touched on that a little bit in the postgame last night, Jim, about how you build the intensity of trying to get out there and get after it. When your team is out of it, you're playing a team that is also ran this year in the Padres. And how do you get motivated? I mean, is it individual motivation? The best kind of motivation you can have, because it's a team sport, is to get out there and win as a team.
Yep.
That's the #1 thing for Riggleman. But unfortunately, this time of year, some guys find it in different ways. You know, whether it's a salary drive, whether it's to put some money up maybe with performances in September that you can take to the arbitration table. Some guys are just trying to hang on to big league jobs. But when you put a win on the board, it makes everybody happy.
Well, here's the lineup that Andy Green will send out tonight. Luis Urias, who you're looking at right now, will lead off. Francisco Mejia, the youngster that did some damage here last night, batting second. Hunter Renfroe batting third. Cleanup hitters Eric Hosmer, Will Myers at third base. Franmil Reyes in right field. Freddie Galvis at shortstop. 8 batters Manuel Margot, and the pitcher Brett Kennedy batting ninth. DeSclafani, a 17th start of the season. His third career appearance and start versus the Padres, but the first that he's faced San Diego since 2016. Into the windup, and the first pitch in this game is finally underway. And the 1-0 pitch to Urias.
Had a real rough time recently. Urias has, if you go back a couple of weeks, covering about 9 games, he is 1 for 25 against right-handed pitchers. That's an .040 average.
The rain delay officially 2 hours and 37 minutes worth. Game time temperature 72 degrees, so actually turned into a pleasant evening. And proof positive that this field can take some rain, because did it come down. And for a long period of time, it rained really hard. There are puddles everywhere, and hard to even tell that it rained that hard right now. So the grounds crew doing a terrific job here at GABP. Check swing, and yes, says home plate umpire DJ Rayburn, and a good start for Anthony DeSclafani.
Now the slider is his main off-speed pitch. It goes straight down when he's got it going right, and Urias is a guy that just struggled mightily against right-handers recently. Can't hold back, and 1 up, 1 down.
And here's Francisco Mejia, and boy did he take advantage of his first start in a Padres uniform. Not only his first home run of his big league career, but back-to-back swings versus Luis Castillo. It was a 2 home run game, and the big blow, a 3-run home run. The back end of that, leading the Padres to a 6-2 victory. Switch hitting catcher came in a trade from the Indians. Highly touted.
That's what 2 home runs in 1 game will do for you. Move you up from the number 7 spot to the number 2 spot.
Castillo tried to sneak a couple of fastballs by him at 96 and 97 and didn't work out. The old number 2 worked after that.
The second one he hit, the one he golfed out here to right field, it looked like it was a cricket swing.
Yeah.
I mean, that ball was down around his ankles.
1-2 pitch, and he lifts one into right field, and it's another hit for Mejia. Here's your 4 defensive lineup for the Reds. We'll start in the outfield. Phillip Ervin in left. Mason Williams getting the start in center field tonight. Billy Hamilton night off from the starting lineup. Schebler in right. Typical infield. Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette back in there. Votto and Barnhart hanging the signs for DeSclafani. And here's Hunter Renfroe, who himself hit a home run here yesterday as Castillo gave up 3 home runs. First time he had done that in his career, and came up with the defensive play of the game.
He sure did. That running catch he made in left field probably changed the entire game, just the way the energy of that game was going.
No question. In the fourth, the Reds had bases loaded and nobody out. Irvin and Schebler struck out, and then Herrera, a line drive to left, a diving catch by Renfroe, saved 2, probably 3 runs. Ended the fourth.
Very dangerous hitter right here. He likes to pull the ball. He's got plenty of power. Been seeing it real big lately.
Grounded to the left side, and it gets past Suarez. Back-to-back hits off of DeSclafani.
Boy, the difference in baseball, you know, between a couple of feet one way or another. This looks like a ground ball. This is an easy double play, 5-4-3, except that it's hit just too far to the left of Suarez.
So some trouble to deal with here, as you see screen right there. Former Red Skip Schumacher, first base coach of the Padres. Hard-nosed coach. He was a hard-nosed player, now transcending that to the coaching ranks. Mark McGuire's the bench coach, and they say those guys are like nails to these players. Batters Eric Hosmer, 2 on 1 out.
You want to keep the ball down and away from Hosmer. Has a tendency to try to pull the ball a lot, and when he does, he rolls over on little sinking fastballs in the outer part of the plate. Has the highest ground ball ratio of anybody in the major leagues this year. That's what DeSclafani's looking for here.
And gets a strike off the plate to even the count at 1-1. When the Padres signed Hosmer to that big deal in the offseason, I'm not sure they had 250 batting average, 13 home runs, and 56 RBIs in mind into September. But a World Series winning member of the Kansas City Royals. He's been a leader, been a clutch player.
And he really brings a lot of energy. I mean, there's a lot to like about Eric Hosmer. Having an off year, yes, maybe getting used to a big ballpark, different league, whatever. But what we saw last night out of Hosmer was an ultra big swing. And just kind of gets himself all out of whack because he's trying to swing so hard. I imagine here ahead in the count, he's thinking the same thing now.
Two balls and a strike. And that one shot the other way. That's hit so hard. Oh, they're going to wave around the runner from second base. Throw is offline, and the Padres have a 1-0 lead. Back-to-back hits off of DeSclafani.
Well, he does a nice job. Hosmer does it, going the other way with the pitch. He knows how teams are pitching him, which is away. They want him to roll over on the ball, get a ground ball. That ball elevated a little bit, and Hosmer was able to take it right into left center field. When I say elevated, I mean, we're not talking about waist high or chest high. I mean, 2 or 3 inches above the knees is elevated if you're a sinker ball pitcher.
Mejia looks like he can run a little bit for a catcher.
He sure does.
They had no problem waving him around, third base coach Glenn Hoffman. Still first and second, 1 out, and Will Myers at the plate. Up the middle, and that'll reach center field. They're going to wave around the runner from second base. 2-0 San Diego. 4 straight hits off of DeSclafani, albeit 2 of them seeing eye singles.
Now, seeing eye singles, but still hit fairly sharply. On the end of the bat right there, Myers is able to, he's got good extension, good plate coverage right there, and takes it right through the middle of the infield, where a couple of infielders are very close to being able to snag it.
And this will warrant a trip to the mound by Danny Darwin and Tucker Barnhart.
Pitcher's worst nightmare right here. You know, you come out there, you think you're making some pretty decent pitches. They're hitting it on the ground. They happen to be finding some holes. You haven't walked anybody. You're throwing the ball over the plate. But yet you look up, you're 2 runs down and only have 1 out. This is when you just got to shake the negative vibes and also shake the temptation to try to make the perfect pitch. Just stay with your game plan.
The batter is Franmil Reyes, right fielder for the Padres, who looks more like a defensive end in football than he does a right fielder. Big dude. Reyes had a 10-game hitting streak snapped here last night and struck out 3 times. We'll make that 2 times. Broken bat, right side. Jeanette's only play will be to first. 2 outs. Both runners move up. Shattered the bat of Reyes.
Different ways to break a bat. One is in on the hands, as the other is at the very end of the bat. That's what happens right there. I'm always disappointed when that happens and there aren't Super Bowls bouncing all over home plate.
Oh, back in the day.
Those are the good old days.
When you had position playing teammates that would travel with drill bits.
Drill presses.
Drill presses. The 1 pitch to Freddie Galvis. And DeSclafani trying to hold it to a 2-run inning, and a strike away from doing that. Oh, 2. Tried to get him to chase, but Galvis lays off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hosmer at third, Myers at second, and the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Home plate umpire DJ Rayburn tonight. Chris Siegel at first. Alfonso Marquez, your second base umpire, and the crew chief Sam Holbrook down at third. Scafani has what he wants. Barnhart sets up inside, wants it high, and he gets it right there, and a strikeout for DeSclafani. But Padres get 2. Reds coming up. with Billy Hamilton out of the lineup tonight and has been struggling at the plate of late. Schebler elevated back to the leadoff spot where he had success earlier this season. Rest of the lineup: Peraza, Votto, Jeanette, Suarez, Mason Williams getting the start in center field. Tucker Barnhart behind the plate, Phillip Ervin batting 8th, and the pitcher Anthony Sclafani batting 9th. On the hill, right-handed rookie Brett Kennedy.
Yeah, one of more than a dozen rookies at a major league debut here this year for the Padres. He gets his 6th start. Pitched 25 innings. He'll eat up some innings for you, but his earned run average kind of high. Came off a pretty good outing his last time out against the Colorado Rockies.
And the first pitch to Schebler is off the plate for ball 1.
Not really a high strikeout guy, Kennedy, more of a contact pitcher, and if he makes contact, you'll see where they think Schebler's going to hit the ball. Our StatCast defensive look brought to you by the StatCast AI, powered by AWS.
That was a quality read. Good job. 2-0 was fouled back. Schebler last 8 appearances has turned it up as you look at his overall numbers on the season. Last 8, 370, including 3 multi-hit games. The 2-1. Strike called. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kennedy listed at 6 foot 200. Full count. Payoff pitch, chopped up the middle. Backhand throw, cross body, and pretty nice scoop by Hosmer, but Schebler can get down the line, as you know. Infield base hit.
Well, that is the wild card in this particular play. Galvis makes a pretty nice play right there coming across the bag, but Schebler just runs so well for a big guy. I mean, he runs hard. He looks like he's running hard like a linebacker. Gets out of the box very quickly right there. And we won't have to wait long for our first official review of this ball game.
You don't always expect Schebler to bust it down the line in many situations. And
you know what's really going to be important in this particular call is how MLB has changed the rule on what defines when the ball is in the glove. It used to be that the umpires could listen for the ball hit the glove and then the foot on the bag. But now with replay, it's actually when the ball enters the glove, not when it actually reaches the back of the webbing. So we'll see how they rule this one.
Out. Well, according to your definition, it looked clearly like the ball entered his glove before Schebler stepped on the base. So,
not a fan of it, of official review, I can tell you right now.
No.
Hosmer is. Schebler, no.
That was a big time scoop. Putout goes 6-3 in that shift. As Chris said, that was Galvis making that nice defensive play. And the batter is Jose Peraza. And Peraza looked at 2 balls out of the zone. And strike called. Peraza's our subject of our IGS Bringing the Energy. And versus the Padres this season, 4 games, 8 for 16. He'll take that and look at his career numbers versus the Pods. A couple of home runs, 2 doubles, 9 RBIs, and 5 runs scored. That's bringing some energy. Two balls and two strikes to the Reds shortstop. Broken bat up the middle. And Urias making the play. 4-3 on the put out, 2 outs. So we're even in broken bats.
Still no rubber balls.
You've seen this before, that ball coming right back at you. But Kennedy doesn't have the ups that Chris Welsh once had.
You know, bats never really used to break like that. The bats that shatter, like we've seen in this ball game, and sometimes you see the bat head go into the stands or into the dugout, those are normally maple bats.
Ripped into right field off the bat of Joey Votto.
Joey getting a first pitch breaking ball right there, and one of those get ahead curve balls that was very hittable.
And that'll bring to the plate Scooter Gennett. And the night off last night, did not appear in last night's game. He will step in with a .320 batting average, which continues to lead the National League. Christian Yelich entered today's play at .316. First pitch to Scooter's a foul tip into the mitt of Mejia. And Yelich so far 0 for 2 tonight, sitting at .315. So gonna be fun to watch down the stretch. Scooter chasing a batting title. And here they are right here. Yelich, Zobrist, Markakis, and Kane chasing Scooter Gennett.
A lot of left-handed hitters on that list.
Yep. And going into a second year of arbitration for Scooter Gennett, you better believe he would love the feather in the cap of a batting title. Kind of what you were talking about. A lot of things to be motivated by, whether it be team-wise or individual performances. And Gennett, anytime you win a batting title, major feather in the cap. In fact, it hasn't been done in a while, what you talk about.
I think there's probably only a handful of hitters at the onset of the season you're thinking, you know what, I'm going for a batting title.
Yeah.
And probably guys that have been there before. Gennett maybe not one of those. Maybe Joey Votto is thinking that would be on my goal list, but you know, now obviously it's got to be in the sights of Gennett.
Swing and a miss, not this time. 2 out hit by Votto, man stranded. Through 1, 2-0 San Diego. more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. Is that JK? Long time, extremely talented television man. Our man JK sitting in the crowd. Long throw by Peraza. What a play! That's big league stuff. And we'll see if the Padres want to look at it.
Well, Margot is very sure that he was safe. In fact, he's standing at first base. I think they called him out, right?
Oh, they called him out.
And now they're going to review again.
Chris Siegel says out.
Well, Siegel's on the hot seat.
He sure is. He's already 0 for 1.
He's 0 for 1. We're still early in the ball game here in the second inning. You know, and normally we've said this before, Jim, but I mean, most people now watching either at the ballpark or on TV, you really just want to get the call right. But if you're the umpire that makes the call, you still view this when it's overturned as like a public spanking. So Chris Siegel's hoping not to have any more second guessing going on.
He's on the headsets with crew chief Sam Holbrook, and he's listening to New York. You could say he's listening to his parents, and they're trying to decide if it's time for timeout
or a public spanking.
I kind of like public spanking better.
I think that's what I got. I think that just stopped with my generation.
You know, you might have a point there.
Yeah.
And the decision is safe. Call overturned, and indeed Chris Siegel 0 for 2. Still a great play by Peraza. So it's an infield base hit, the 5th already off of DeSclafani. And that'll bring up the pitcher Brett Kennedy. 0 for 7 is Kennedy, but certainly bunting here. Look out. In his young career as a hitter, Brett Kennedy 0 for 7.
DeSclafani looks like he's just a little off tonight. I don't know whether it's just something early in the game he's going to have to stay with to get back, but he's missed a lot of spaces that we're not used to seeing missing. I mean, when he was really kind of on that roll going back to the beginning of August, 3 really good games in a row. I mean, everything he was throwing was right on the perimeter of the strike zone. Now, in this case, I think he's having a hard time just throwing a strike.
Well, you and I talked about this very thing his last start in St. Louis on Sunday. He went 3 2/3 and gave up 2 earned runs, but it was just like he was struggling the whole time, whether it be finding his release point or whatever. You'd be better deciphering that than me, but he never looked comfortable on the mound.
You just have to stay stubborn. You just have to keep coming, realizing every pitch is important here.
Margot 25 steals on the season and 30 attempts. So he's a guy that can run. And Votto's going to go to second base, and nicely done. That's a double play. Got to have your mind made up before you get to the ball, and Votto was going to second base all the way.
And he's planted his feet. He threw a nice strike, a good feed to Peraza so that he had an easy turn to get the pitcher running down the line. And that covering first base at the other end.
It goes 3-6-4.
That just might be the kind of play, you know, that just pulls the shade open for DeSclafani.
One ball and a strike to Urias. It was a week ago that Urias came up with his first major league home run. Batted in the 2 spot here last night and had a sacrifice fly RBI. Two balls and 2 strikes. Pulled into left field. This will back up Irvin to the track. And he has it for out number 3. Middle of the second. 2-0 Padres. Presented by Prasco. This year's concert features Dove award-winning band 10th Avenue North. Don't miss their live performance from the field after the Reds take on the Padres. Tickets are available now for as low as $12. Visit Reds.com today. We saw still a very, very light rain. Barely falling here. If you're just joining us, 2 hours and 37 minutes of a rain delay. But otherwise, it's turned into a nice night. Reds would like to make that scoreboard look a little nicer, trailing 2-0. Here's Suarez, first at bat of the night. And those numbers you just saw, tied for 4th, coming into play in home runs in the league, and still tied atop the RBI list with Javier Baez. In fact, both have been stuck on 100 for a minute. Suarez got his 100th RBI in dramatic fashion in St. Louis as the Reds won their 2nd straight game. It was a 2-run home run in the 10th inning. Part of back-to-back home runs to beat the Cardinals 6-4. But since then, not only doesn't have an RBI, but he has struggled overall at the plate, including last night, 0 for 3. But all the ups and downs of a major league season. 2-2 pitch to Suarez. Full count. And he walked him. Leadoff walk for the Reds here in the second as we check out the forward defensive lineup for the Padres. Hunter Renfroe in left, Margot in center, Franmil Reyes in right. Left to right around the infield, Myers, Galvez, Urias, Hosmer, Mejia back behind the plate. And here is Mason Williams. Kennedy working from the stretch, and the first pitch to Williams is hit sharply to second for 6, and not in time at first base.
And Chris Siegel holding his breath. Got to remember that Mason Williams runs pretty well right there, even though it looked like ground ball double play all the way. Williams simply outruns the play, so keeps the runner at first base. Just kidding there, Chris. Got to have a little fun. I mean, after a 2.5-hour rain delay.
Hey, you got to have a little self-deprecation as well. I'd be out there killing myself, ripping myself, if you will. Tucker Barnhart fouls the first pitch back and out of play. .250 batter, 9 home runs, 41 RBIs. The 1. Count even at 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Andy Green from right here in Reds country. Flashing the signs, and here comes the 2-1 to Barnhart.
Well, Kennedy throws a lot of pitches, and right now you can almost characterize him as being, effectively wild. Just not really sure when you're set up in the batter's box where he's going to miss. And for that reason, just don't be too anxious. Well, they play Barnhart to hit the ball the other way. I mean, I have not seen an outfield defense swung around so far to left. This is where the right fielder is. Way out here in right center field.
Second walk of the inning surrendered by Kennedy. See if the Reds can take advantage here. Philip Ervin at the plate.
I think it's a good matchup here for Ervin. He's a fastball pitcher for the most part. His slider has not been all that good so far tonight. Brett Kennedy, that is. And Ervin loves the ball in the inner part of the plate.
First pitch to Irvin, outside.
Yeah, this is one ballpark you just cannot pitch scared in and be successful. You have to be willing to come inside on the hitter, challenge him. Because when you start putting guys on base with bases on balls, and you're just one swing away from launching one into the short porch, could be a problem. They're in ballsy trying to give him a little words of encouragement about use that downward play and get a ground ball right here.
16 balls, 15 strikes. So far, effectively wild. 2 on and 1 out. And with the pitcher spot due up next, see if Irvin's a little extra aggressive here. .295 batter with runners in scoring position this season, but overall just 4 for his last 32 at the plate. You can see Mejia there trying to urge on his pitcher Kennedy to settle down. When he has missed out of the zone, it has not been close. Two and two. Lays off of one just below the knees, according to DJ Rayburn. He had tried the frame job to no avail. Here comes the payoff pitch, and he walked him. Third walk of the inning. Loads the bases for the dangerous hitting Anthony DeSclafani.
He must not have watched the highlights of Anthony DeSclafani swinging the bat this year, or else he would never want to face him with the bases loaded. And they're not going to wait long. They're going to get that bullpen going.
Williams at third, Barnhart at second, Irvin at first, 1 out. It's trying to cut into a 2-0 lead for the Padres. Sclafani, a 167 batter, but that 1 home run produced those 4 RBIs in 1 swing. That was some kind of exciting on that day.
So far in this particular at bat, Brett Kennedy has had the benefit of a couple of pitches that could have gone either way going for him. I wonder if that's because the pitcher's in the batter's box.
Wow.
Pretty close.
Yep. 1-2. Swing and a miss. So it's up to Scott Schebler. That call down to the bullpen was for left-hander Matt Strom. And here's Schebler, a ground out victim in the first, although originally ruled safe, overturned via replay. One 0. 2-0.
Green is pacing.
Hitters count. And it gets away from Mejia. Here comes the runner to the plate, and the Reds are on the board. Williams scores on the wild pitch.
Might be a pass ball. Looked
Yeah.
like it was a very catchable pitch, except it looked like Kennedy put a little cut on that ball at the very last second. Really darted inside towards the hitter. Off the glove of the catcher Mejia. Williams comes around. Everybody moves up a base.
That is indeed a pass ball officially.
And really the difference from a scoring perspective is a pass ball can end up as a unearned run.
3-0. And way out of the zone.
Or not even close. And Andy Green has seen enough.
Here he comes. He's going to lift Brett Kennedy out of this game. 2 outs in the bottom of the second after walking 4 in the inning. It's our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Back in a moment. Early in this one, as Brett Kennedy only gives up 1 hit, but 4 walks in the inning and a run scored on a pass ball. And Andy Green not messing around here tonight.
Well, there's no defense for not being able to throw the ball over the plate, and he's trying to teach his pitcher a lesson, I think, and also show everybody else, those young pitchers on this staff, that he'll have a very short leash if he can't get the ball in the strike zone.
So the Reds trying to get more than 1, taking advantage of 4 walks in the inning. Peraza fouls it out of play. Peraza ground out to second his first time up.
Stat for you on Jose Peraza. Against left-handed pitchers this year, he's batting nearly .450. on breaking pitches when left-handers throw breaking pitches into him. That is the best in the major leagues.
Rushes him back off the plate.
And the Padres probably know that kind of thing. I mean, if I can get that information, they can get that information. So likely Strom will keep the fastball on him.
Does the rookie Mejia have that information? I shouldn't say rookie. He hasn't started many games. Wants it down low, does Mejia. And here's a drive into left center field. Peraza! That'll one hop the wall. So score 1, 2, and 3. How about Jose Peraza? A bases clearing double. And the Reds take the lead.
Peraza just really feels comfortable right now. He's seen the ball as well as anybody in this Reds lineup. And he's got power. Not only down the left field line when he first showed us some power a couple of years ago, but now really to different parts of the ballpark. That going deep in the left center field. Clears the bases with a double. And a big inning here for the Reds, and still not over.
28th double of the season for Peraza. And now 49 RBIs. Foul tip into the mid of Mejia. No balls and 2 strikes. One and 2 to Votto. Another long look in. Strom to Mejia. And here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down go the Reds in the second. But a 4 spot. And a 2-run lead. memorabilia and a trip to see the Reds in spring training in Goodyear, Arizona. Each donation of $25 equals 1 entry into the sweepstakes. For rules and entry, visit reds.com/spring sweepstakes. Some restrictions apply. DeSclafani gave up 2 in the first, and the Reds get him 4 in the second. So he will try to protect the 2-run lead here, something that Brett Kennedy could not do.
That's got to be like a breath of fresh air for DeSclafani to see that 4 spot go up there.
High into the air in right field. Scheffler dances around a moonshot.
I'm telling you, this kid is quick inside. You better find a different part of the zone to go after him in. Take another look at his swing right here. That looked like the same spot that he launched one into the moon deck last night.
And the batter's Hunter Renfroe. Brett Kennedy, an inning and 2/3, just 1 hit, but those 4 walks resulted in 4 earned runs. And he'll have a lot of time the rest of this one to think about it. Lonely in the dugout after you struggle on the mound.
You know, the thing about it is, you know, Jim, and everybody who's pitched has been there before. You've had a bad outing, you get taken out, whatever reason, either you get knocked around or you can't find the strike zone. And you think you've let everybody down. You've let your parents down, your girlfriend down, your family down, your teammates down. You're sitting in the dugout and you're thinking that everybody who comes in after an inning is looking at you saying, geez, we'd be up 2-0 if it wasn't for you right now, which is far from the truth, but it's hard to rid yourself of that. And that's where Brett Kennedy is right now.
Well, he's been there before. You had talked about him 10-0 at AAA. He gave up 3 consecutive home runs in the first inning of his debut, August 8th at Milwaukee. And no Padres pitcher had ever done so in his major league debut, not even Chris Welsh.
Well, the Brewers can do it to you.
No question about that.
Right now, DeSclafani's been better in this inning, just in where he's locating his pitches. He's trying to keep them away from Renfroe, who's got immense power, but he wants it on middle to inner part of the plate.
Count holds at 2-2. Eighth pitch of the at bat. And here it comes. Long drive to left field and a missile home run by Renfroe. What a catch.
That guy had a better scouting report than the Reds did.
Had him played perfectly. Renfroe homered here last night and delivers again. His 21st of the season.
Wow, this is a hanger right here, and this is what I mean by staying away from the middle of the plate with this guy. A roller.
Well, that got out in a hurry.
Yeah, that had to feel so good.
That's why you bring your glove. 2 outs. And of course, you know that cell phone's lighting up. He's asking right now, which camera has me? Which one? That's the 9th home run in the last 20 games for Hunter Renfroe. Should be out number 3. Padres get a run. 1-run game at GABP.
They got some a tough one as Candelaria, the Tigers, hits this home run to end it, and the Tigers win it 5-3 as the Cardinals lose in walk-off fashion. Candelaria drenched there at home plate. So the Cardinals lose 5-3. Reds to lead at 4-3. Jim, back up to you.
Big thank you very much. A little interleague action there, and Cardinals entered play tonight trailing the Cubs by 5 games in the Central. Milwaukee 4.5 games back. (2-2) Brewers and the Giants. They're in the 7th in Milwaukee. Cubs Nationals delayed in the nation's capital. We feel your pain. One ball and a strike to Scooter Gennett. A strikeout victim swinging his first time up. One out. We'd like to send out our thoughts and prayers to the family of Lou Dolan, who was a lifelong Reds fan who passed away on Monday. Lou had season tickets for 40+ years. And listen to this, had attended 72 straight opening days. 72 straight opening days.
That's being a Reds fan.
We lost one of the ultimate Reds fans on Monday. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Lou Dolan. One and one the count to Eugenio Suarez. Joel, you're killing me right now. Statman Joel Luckup. a half-eaten slice of pizza and he sets it down right next to me. I mean, not cool at all.
No one would blame you, Jim.
We're deep into the night here. It was a long rain delay. Two and two. Strom shaking off Mejia a few times. Full count.
Boy, Strom's got a pretty good arm. Young man that grew up in West Fargo, North Dakota. And when he played for his high school team, he considered himself the third best pitcher on the team. So he didn't get any scholarships anywhere.
Gets Suarez swinging here.
And he went to a tryout at the University of Kansas. Well, the Kansas didn't want him, but there was a coach there from Neosho County Community College that said, come on and pitch for us. So he ended up pitching there and ended up helping that team go to the National Junior Collegiate World Series. And after a couple of years there, he went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and was drafted by the Kansas City Royals. Got called up there and then was traded over here to the Padres in the same deal that sent Travis Wood here to the Padres. That in July of 2017, last year.
One-0 pitch to Mason Williams. 2-0. .95 right down the heart of the plate.
He kind of reminds you a little bit of Josh Hader, doesn't he? I mean, the way he, he's a long, skinny left-hander, arms and legs going every which way. Hader's a little bit more across his body. Throws a little harder. But you're getting the same idea here.
Hair's the same.
He's the generic version.
One. And that'll drift out of play. Each time a new pitcher comes into the game for the Padres, Andy Green was talking about the catcher Mejia, new to the team, and basically says it's a crash course every time a new pitcher comes into the game. Thus, we've seen Strom shake him off a lot here. This is going to take a while for the youngster Mejia to basically learn the entire staff, and here in September that's an expanded roster. No shake off this time. Payoff pitch. Took some off and had Williams way out in front. 1, 2, 3, third. 4-3 Reds.
Cap a doubleheader at Riverfront. Cardinal outfielder Mark Whitten, hard-hitting Whitten, 4 home runs in the game, helping to tie 2 established RBI records. With 12 RBI in the second game, he equaled the single-game mark set by Jim Bottomley in 1924. And the opening game, he got RBI there, tied a 21-year-old record established by Nate Colbert for most RBI, 13 in a twin bill. Man, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Pitchers Larry Lubers, the granny off of, hit 2 off of Mike Anderson and then touched up Rob Dibble in the 9th. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. And one of the all-time great nicknames, hard-hitting Mark Whitten.
After that night, certainly, you know, Mike Anderson, who was a Red for a very short period of time, is the brother of our very good buddy, play-by-play announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers, Brian Anderson.
Yeah. Left center field, hit well. Williams giving chase, can't get to it. And an aggressive turnaround second base, but holding right there is Franmil Reyes. Leadoff double.
Now they're hitting the ball hard here after having a couple of ground ball base hits in the first inning. Renfroe unloads last inning for a home run, and Reyes now gets a double in the left center field gap. You know, it's so hard to compare defense, but you get so spoiled with Billy Hamilton in the outfield. Now, I'm not saying for certain that Hamilton gets to that ball, but Hamilton gets the balls that most center fielders don't get to.
Well, he's so good when a play like that happens. It's the first thing that enters your mind, like it entered yours. You wonder, wow, would Billy have had that?
Well, the only reason I said it is because it entered the mind of just about everybody who's watching tonight who's seen Billy play.
Yeah.
So really, the interesting thing now is not whether Hamilton could have gotten it and Williams didn't, is what happens after that. And how many runs or base runners or pitches or pitchers does Hamilton save by making a catch in the gap?
Yep.
That some other center fielder doesn't make. And that's a conundrum really that the Reds face with Billy Hamilton.
Yep.
I mean, how good can your defense be as a center fielder before you become indispensable despite what you do offensively?
Blocked by Barnhart. Counts 1-2 to Freddie Galvis. Action in the Reds pen. It's righty Michael Lorenzen. Got him.
Well, not a great effort there by Galvis trying to get the runner to third base with nobody out. DeSclafani goes to his go-to pitch, which is a slider down and in. So now you work through the number 8 hitter, and you have the pitcher coming up after that.
Although Andy Green at the moment has sent Corey Spangenberg into the on-deck circle.
Makes sense.
But still, it's the 8th batter, and it's a pinch hitter. Good chance for DeSclafani to work around a leadoff double.
And DeSclafani's got to know that there's activity in the bullpen. It's not like you're in a bubble out there. And he's thinking, gee, I was taken out after 3 2/3 last time, and I don't want it to happen again tonight. In fact, I'm ahead in this ball game.
Yep. Good pitch there. Up and in, right on the inner part of the strike zone. People eating pizza all around me here tonight. Is this a conspiracy?
Except for me. I'm right there with you.
2-1 pitch. Williams with another chance. Deep to center, but he won't get that one off the wall. Scoring is Reyes, and we are tied.
I would imagine the leash now on Anthony DeSclafani is going to be shortened up even more.
That ball was blistered to center.
In fact, Riggleman's got his lineup card out, which is sometimes the precursor to the trip to the mound. Slider that didn't do much. So now Andy Green's going to pull back the pinch hitter and let the pitcher bat.
Yeah. And here's Matt Strom, who throws him lefty but bats righty. Threw it right by him.
Pretty good looking swing.
Oh for 7 as a major league hitter. Showing bunt, runner going, throw down to third in time. Margot gunned down at third base by Barnhart.
That was a busted play of some sort. I'm not sure why you'd be stealing third base with the pitcher at the plate unless he was really supposed to bunt it. But he squared around very late. Barnhart on the money.
Williams playing shallow, has to go way back to the track to get this one. To retire the Padres in the 4th, but they get another. Brand new game. 4-4. Highlights here from players before and after the games, and catch fun moments that would be on and off the field. Follow us at Fox Sports OH on the Instagram. Well, we'll start anew at 4. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, please crack 1 or 2 open for us. Look forward to the Hold True moment later in tonight's game. Barnhart Irvin, pitcher spot here in the 4th. Switch hitting Barnhart will bat from the right-hand side against the lefty Matt Strom. Breaking ball, bends in for a strike. Strom ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. One and 2. From 0-2 to 2-2. They're still delayed in DC. Cubs and Nationals. Brewers have taken a 4-2 lead over the Giants, top of the 8th. From 0-2 to 3-2. Payoff. Swing and a miss.
That's 3 strikeouts in a row now for Strom, who's all of a sudden kind of found his groove. You wonder if that was just a complete decoy on the part of Andy Green, the manager, whether he's going to pinch hit for Strom or not. If Margot had not gotten that tying run in with a double, it could be the Strom wouldn't be in the game anymore.
Pride of Lexington, Kentucky, Andy Green.
Went down, did his college work at UK, played for Keith Madison.
Long drive to left. Baby. If it's fair, it's gone. Bye-bye. Reds retake the lead. Number 5 for Irvin. StatCast AI. Presented by AWS. Almost 105 miles per hour off the bat. And like Renfroe's home run, got out in a hurry. Pinch hitter now, and it's pitcher slash hitter Michael Lorenzen. So that'll be the end of the night for Anthony DeSclafani. 261 batter as a pinch hitter. Four home runs, 9 RBIs. So a back and forth affair here. Padres took a 2-0 lead. Reds answered with 4 in the second. Padres got 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Reds won, and they hope counting here in the bottom of the fourth. This is some clean kicks. One-two pitch, tied him up inside. And that's 4 strikeouts now for Strom in an inning and 2/3.
Now, he's got some strikeout stuff. You can say that. He's been up around 94, 95 miles an hour. He's got a nice breaking ball, a slow pitch. breaking ball that he got Mason Williams on to end the third inning. A little harder slider right there down and into Lorenzen.
Leadoff man Scott Schebler at the dish. Renfroe initially came in, went back, gloves it for the end of inning number 4. But Phillip Ervin unties it, and the Reds have retaken the lead. Ford dealer, Ford go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. Roebling Suspension Bridge in all its glory. In the distance, great American ballpark where that guy Phillip Ervin gives the Reds a 5-4 lead. And new pitcher, he just hit, stays into the game to pitch, Michael Lorenzen.
He'll start off at the top of the order as Urias steps in. Lorenzen 40 games now out of the bullpen this year, 60 innings overall. He's been one of those guys that Jim Riggleman has tried to push into multi-inning outings. And the Reds could use one here tonight. We're only in the top of the 5th.
And with different guys getting opportunities in the rotation, Lorenzen is still one of those guys that chews the manager's ear like, hey, need me to start? In fact, he's probably lobbied for about every position. I'll play first, second, third, short, outfield. I just want to play. And I'm not sure there's a day he says that he can't pitch. Confident young man. Really good athlete. One, two. Do it again. Votto backs up and gets a better hop. Underhand flip to Lorenzen. One out. And here's Mejia. So see how Lorenzen pitches to Mejia. Proved last night he could turn on a fastball. Last time up, a moonshot fly out to deep right field. Singled his first time up and scored. It was an interesting trade as the Indians giving up their top prospect for a couple of relievers, but when the relievers, one of them is Brad Hand and Simber goes to Cleveland, Indians feeling that their window perhaps is closing sooner than later as far as the team that they have right now and going for it.
Brad Hand, who since he joined the Cleveland Indians, has pitched 19 innings and he struck out 28 batters. And he has had some kind of a run, immediately having a positive impact on that Indians bullpen, which was, you know, their Achilles heel over there. And that ball club is so strong. But they need to get over the hump.
Yep.
Lost the disappointing World Series to the Cubs a couple of years ago, and they think that they've got the kind of person on that ball club that they can take it very deep again this year.
Well, it's weird when you talk about the Indians. What, they won 102 games last year and they won 21 straight at one point. But you talk about it being 22 straight games. You talk about it being a disappointing season. You win 102. Lorenzen will be careful with Hunter Renfroe. 2 for 2 here tonight. A single and a home run last time up. Homered here last night. And again, has homered 9 times in the last 20 games. Leave one up, this guy will send one out.
Well, you can just see the difference in the aggressiveness of his swing and the smoothness of his swing when he gets a pitch middle and then on the inner part of the plate, as opposed to down and away. I think he's a guy that just spits on that low and away pitch and waits for you to make a mistake. Ouch.
In on the hands, ate him up. 1, 2, 3, 5th for Lorenzen. Brand new, beautiful Tundra. It's on display here at Great American Ballpark thanks to your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Almost gave away that bad boy last night. Scott Schebler rocket home run. J.K. getting more face time than Chris Welsh tonight.
He's having a little family celebration out there. His son turning 50 years old and celebrating it right here at Great American Ballpark. And
good stuff. It's a good man right there.
You better believe it. One of the best ever.
Speaking of home runs, and speaking of RBIs, that is, Jose Peraza cleared the bases his last time up. New pitcher for the Padres, it's righty Rowan Wick. "25 years of age is Rowan Wick, 6'3", 234. Just his 4th appearance. Canada kid, North Vancouver, Canada. Man, is it beautiful in Vancouver. And represented his country in the 2017 World Baseball Classic, did Rowan Wick.
Well, he was originally scouted and drafted by the Cardinals when he came out of Cypress College, which is in California. Cardinals got him in the 2012 draft, and the Padres picked him up this February when the Cardinals put him on the waiver wire.
Third pitcher of the night, Strom went 2 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run. Followed Brett Kennedy, a tough start for him. 1 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs for Andy Green. Raza serves one into right field, and Reyes comes in to make out number 1. And that'll bring up Votto. Votto 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout last time up. Heater at 95 paints the inside black. Votto pulls the ball, but foul. And when he pulls the ball, it opens my eyes. Don't see it very often. At least dead down the right field line.
Are you right about that? Has an 0-2 count to deal with. Well, the other thing you can say about Mejia, we talked about him being a very fine prospect with the Indians before he came over here. We've seen how quick his bat is and how well he runs for a catcher, but look how small he gets down there behind the plate. Yeah. I mean, he gives an umpire about as good a view as you're going to get.
Strike 3 called. Second time in a row that Votto strikes out.
And it's especially true on the low pitch. Sometimes catchers can be big and they're almost cumbersome, and some umpires, if you're somewhat of a shorter umpire, you have a hard time seeing over the catcher. Not that time, as Wick's able to place it right on the down part of the zone.
And here's Jeanette, and we talked about his chase for the National League batting title. 0 for 2, average at .319 as we speak, and trying to become the 6th Reds batter to win the batting title, and it hasn't been done since 1973. Our Alcanelk storylines. Peter Edward Rose did it 3 times. And before Pete, you got to go back to 1938. Anytime we can get Bubbles Hargrove on a graphic, it's good night.
Hang with him.
That's a big old hang with him. A line drive right at the third baseman. 5 in the books. 5-4 Reds.
For the best morning sports show on television. Weekday mornings at 6:30 Eastern on FS1. There they are. It's a good suit. Look good on you, Jim.
I'm not sure there's a good look for me. Still working on it. Somehow been able to survive on the tube here. Michael Lorenzen still on the hill. Eric Hosmer at the plate. Hosmer returning to Cincinnati. A former Midland Redskin. 2007 and 08. And there's a few of former Midland Redskins in this game. Matt Harvey, 2007. Scooter Jeanette, 2008. And I'm not sure have we mentioned Mason Williams, a Midland Redskin, 2009, 2010.
Well, it was interesting because Hosmer and Harvey were actually roommates.
Yeah.
When they both lived together with Brian Heiler, who was the coach, did a very fine job after he took over for Joe Hayden at Midland. Boy, the list of players that went through the Midland Redskins organization, just incredible. You know, one more name to add to that, Jim Day, would be Lucas Sims. He was also a Midland Redskin.
Huh? What a program. We talked about it over the years. Incredible. Will Myers at the plate. And Myers recently had some splaining to do to his manager, Andy Green. I don't know if you heard about the story, but he was playing Fortnite, which Chris Welsh often plays deep into the night. It's a popular video game. And unfortunately, one of his former teammates, Aswahe, was streaming it, and he started saying some disparaging things about Andy Green, basically talking about extra work they had been doing in September. And
like on the field during.
On the field, yeah.
Extra defensive drills and things like
right.
this where they get the team out early to do that.
Right. And at the end of it, he said, it's insane. Andy cannot be any worse than he is right now. And Aswahe, and you can hear him say it on the video, dude, I'm streaming this.
Which means you're busted.
You're busted. Oh, what a catch by Phillip Ervin. Sells out, stretches out, and how do you do? Michael Lorenzen says thank you very much.
Well, off the bat of Myers, this ball is going to be hooking, and Phillip Ervin does his best Hunter Renfroe impersonation. Renfroe grabbed the ball off the bat of Dilson Herrera last night, saved 2 or 3 runs, and that was extra bases saved by a sterling effort by Urban.
Urban says stream that.
All right, so the rest of the story, did Andy Green ever
respond
to that?
Yeah, he took it in stride. He basically said those type of things are normally said, you know, in private, but in today's world, everything is recorded. And basically said, hey, over the years, I've talked about managers and my boss. And basically, Myers apologized and Andy Green accepted. Get half-price Reds tickets. Lots of things for the kids to do, including kids 14 and younger will receive a Eugenio Suarez Fathead thanks to Panera Bread. For tickets, visit Reds.com. And Suarez will lead off. One ball and a strike.
Do you remember the Reds pitcher that they had named Nick Massett?
Oh, yeah.
I think this young man, Wick, reminds me quite a bit of Massett, the way he pitches. Very short arm swing, kind of gets that ball out of his glove up behind his right ear very quickly. Massett had a great arm and a really good curveball. Had a hard time staying healthy to really reach his potential.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Suarez. Payoff pitch. Strike 3 call.
Oh, boy.
T.J. Rayburn rings up Suarez.
Yeah, it really is just about a perfect pitch. A lot of boo birds in the stands here thought it maybe was too low. I think Suarez thought it was too low, but the lower part of that strike zone, remember, is defined as the hollows of the knees. Erase the the little square we have there momentarily and judge for yourself.
Oh for 2 is Mason Williams here tonight.
Hey, if you're coming to the ball game down here tomorrow, and tomorrow's ball game is at 4:10.
We hope.
If you come down a little bit early, you go into the Reds Hall of Fame, and you'll be able to see a very interesting slide presentation put on by John Arardi. Now, John, if you remember, is an author, very acclaimed journalist, and he has written a book called Tony Perez from Cuba to Cooperstown. He's put together about a 20-minute slideshow with music about the book, and you get to meet John and take a look at that slideshow and forget it, and even pick up a book. So there's a thing to do on a Saturday in case it's a little bit rainy outside. You go into the Reds Hall of Fame and get out of the weather and have a little fun with John Arardi and Tony Perez. Now, Tony Perez will not be there, but it'll seem like that.
He'll be there in slide form and story form in the form of John Arardi. When we talk about, you know, go-to guys when you want to talk about the history of the Reds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, Greg Rhodes has been one of them. John Arardi is in that category. Our man Joe Luckham is in that category.
Author as well.
Yep. High fly ball into deep right field off the bat of Tucker Barnhart. Foul ball. And not by much, but a souvenir nonetheless. Barnhart will climb back in. No balls and a strike. They're still delayed in D.C. and you thought we had it bad with a 2-hour and 37-minute rain delay. Top of the second, scoreless Cubs and Nationals, and still delayed. So they started that game. It must mean it's really raining in D.C. As opposed to it not raining and canceling the game. It's probably actually
sure
raining.
how to interpret that.
No, that was.
Maybe you should leave the analysis to me.
I try. Although I can judge whether it's raining or not.
If the mule tail is wet, it's raining.
What else you got there?
If it's dry, it's dry.
Brewers beat the Giants 4-2, so Brewers trying to cut into that Cubs lead. That game looming. Brewers came in trailing 4.5. There goes the runner from first, and Barnhart sends it right through the hole. On his way to third base is Mason Williams. Will hit run action, or run and hit, if you will.
Well, even as hard as Rowan Wick is throwing, Barnhart's all over him. He hit that long foul ball that would have been almost a home run, and then he rips that one in the hole into right field. So the Reds are on to something. They're going to send somebody up to the plate who went long ball his last time at the dish.
And here comes Andy Green, and he will trot out, which normally means a strategy talk. Whole infield will converge. Irvin's had a good night. Walked his first time up, scored. Home run last time up, and the catch of the game. And this will drift out of play. Dilson Herrera in the on-deck circle. A moment ago it was Kurt Casale. They pulled him back, and now Herrera on deck. There goes the runner from first, and it's a bunt, and it's a squeeze, and nicely done.
Boy, how sweet it is right here. You hit a home run for an RBI, drive yourself in. This time you lay down a suicide squeeze. Does it at the perfect time. Waited until the pitcher had committed himself. Williams gets a perfect jump right there. And with the first baseman crashing, Hosmer gets the ball, but there's nobody covering the bag. So the Reds pull a little extra trickery on the Padres and get themselves a couple of run lead here.
When that play is executed, I'm not sure there's a prettier play in baseball. And here's Michael Lorenzen to take his second at bat of the game. Showing bunt, gets it down and past the pitcher. Beauty.
Reds are taking small ball to a whole new scale. This one, once Wick gives up on it right there, he's thinking there's got to be somebody behind me backing me up, right? But unfortunately for him, no. Shortstop was playing too deep. And the Reds are just moving right up along the bases and have them loaded now as they turn the lineup over.
Back-to-back bunt hits, one of them the squeeze variety. Mason Williams with an infield hit, so 4 straight hits, and 3 of them didn't leave the infield. Bases juiced, 1 out for Scott Schebler. One and one the count. Reds have 52 hits with the bases loaded this season. As you look at Diaz warming up, that is a franchise record, and that includes Peraza's double in the second when he cleared the bases. Schebler trying to add to that. Way up high. Two one. In the air. Right field. That bad ball gone. Grand slam. And a new club record and franchise history. 10th Grand Slam of the season for this Reds club. So the 2018 Reds better the 2002 Reds as far as Grand Slams go.
Boy, I love the reaction of the crowd as they see that ball heading into the right field moon deck. Scott Schebler, what a feeling. Has he hit a Grand Slam yet this season? First one for him. So Reds are not only hitting a bunch of them, but they're spreading the wealth.
And that'll bring Andy Green to the mound. Reds have put double digits on the board and they hope to add to it. Scott Schebler touches them all. 6-run lead. Grand Slam. And new pitcher on for the Padres. It is Miguel Diaz. Fourth pitcher of the night for Andy Green. Ten Grand Slams on the season as Corey Spangenberg into the game. He's at third. And by 9 different players for a new club record. Adam Duvall, prior to the trade, had 2 Grand Slams. As Peraza sends a base hit into left field. And inning number 6 continues.
Well, it started out as anything but a home run inning with the way this thing all got going with Mason Williams and Barnhart. And then back-to-back bunt infield hits that kept it alive before Schebler launched. And Peraza keeps it going. The Padres haven't figured out a way to get the Reds out here in the 6th.
6 straight hits by the Reds. As I said, 9 different players with Grand Slams. Duvall had 2. DeSclafani, Winker, Votto, Peraza, Lorenzen, Jeanette, Suarez, and now Schebler. All with Grand Slams this season. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count to Votto. And the count will stay right there. Two and two. Raza at first base.
Now Diaz keeps messing around with that off-speed pitch, trying to get Votto to bite at it when he's got a fastball that he blew right by Votto earlier in the count. Probably coming up here on a 2-2 count.
Check swing, and yes, and that is 3 straight times that Votto has struck out in this game.
Pretty good fastball right here. I mean, it got on Votto right now. 96 on the radar gun, but after seeing a couple of off-speed pitches, Votto got a little velocitized there.
9th man of the inning to bat for the Reds. It's Scooter Gennett.
Scooter hit a rocket right at the third baseman his last time up. That's the closest he's come to a hit tonight. I'll give you a little stat on Scooter you might find interesting. In the last 2 weeks, covering 11 games for Scooter, he is 12 for 24 when he puts a fastball in play.
Wow.
Which means you can hit the fastball, but what he also does very well is hit the breaking ball. He loves hitting fastballs on either part of the plate. So pitchers stay away from him in there, and they try to go breaking ball away, and that's when he also hits really well. I don't think the league has figured out a weakness for this guy yet this year.
Good for his first hit tonight. 2-1 pitch. The 2-2 went chasing, but 9 men go to the plate. 5 score. Grand slam. Scotty Schebler. raced a 2-0 deficit. The Reds did in the second. They scored 4 when Peraza cleared the bases with a bases clearing double. And Phillip Ervin in the 4th, solo home run. Reds retook the lead, and then a 5-run 6th inning. Ervin with the squeeze. And Schebler with the big fly. Grand slam. New club record for the Reds. 10th grand slam of the season as Freddie Galvis. First pitch swinging. Base hit off of Lorenzen here in the 7th. And that'll bring up Manuel Margot. The Reds getting their offense from not the middle part of the order. In that last inning, they sent 9 to the plate. Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez all struck out in the inning, but of course they scored 5. Lorenzen ahead, no balls and 2 strikes to Margot. Could be 2 if they hurry. Double play.
That was one of the better turns we've seen Scooter Jeanette do in a while now. You know, for a while earlier in the year, he sat out some time. His shoulder was bothering him, but he really put something on this throw right here. Margot can get down the line.
Quick hands of Peraza as well right there. And here's Corey Spangenberg. One ball and a strike to Spangenberg. Blew by a 95-mile-per-hour heater right by him. Three-two. Do it again. Swing and a miss. Blew him away. Stretch time. Reds up big time.
Diego. And guys, bad news tonight for the Reds minor league teams that are in the playoffs. We'll start with Double-A. Biloxi beats Pensacola 3-2. Biloxi leads it now 2-1 in that best-of-5 series. And in Rookie League, Great Falls over Billings 3-2. And that's a final as well. Great Falls now has a 1-0 lead over Billings. So those two are behind, and so that's where we stand.
Pig, thank you very much. And where we stand in this game is 10-4 in favor of the Reds. Suarez led off the 6th. He will lead off the 7th after a big 5-run 6th inning for the Reds.
So I would imagine that series there between Great Falls and Billings is a back and forth where you play a couple of games at one location and then go to the other. That's a 4-hour ride through some beautiful parts of Montana.
Heck yeah. I could use a little cabin time in Montana at the end of September. Tough hop for Hosmer, and right over his glove, and
I'll tell you what, that one ate him right up. Watch your lips down there, because Hosmer's a very good glove man at first base. That ball rocketed off the bat of Suarez opposite field. I think it kind of caught Hosmer by surprise right there. You could see him really not all that set until he got too late, and hey, it didn't matter. He went down, that ball ticked off the top of his glove.
base hit for Suarez. Big Sal Romano warming up in the Reds pen.
That's a nice little off-speed pitch that Diaz has out there. He's got a complimentary fastball that goes 95 to 96 miles an hour. I think that's a changeup that he throws. Started the year in Double-A, went to Triple-A, and he got the call to the big leagues.
Chasing down out of the zone and chases one upstairs, and down he goes. Goes Mason Williams. Reds have plated 10. They have 10 hits. They've also struck out 12 times. That kooky game of baseball.
Boy, everybody was trying to get out of the way of that one. Tucker Barnhart didn't want that off his shins. Mejia went over there to glove it, and the home plate umpire, DJ Rayburn, watch this move to get his shin out of the way. Whoa.
He would have been a little late.
That's about a 10-mile-an-hour difference between this kid's fastball and changeup. That's Castillo, Luis Castillo type territory there. Here comes another one.
Two balls and a strike to the Reds catcher. If you're just picking us up and you're saying, is this a replay? No, we are live. 2 hour and 37-minute rain delay as we.
You know, one time I watched the replay and the announcer said, "We are live."
But it said replay up in the corner, right?
I have a really small TV. I couldn't see the corner.
Boy, you're just, you know, he's over here just waiting to pounce.
10-4 game, 11:40 at night.
Yeah.
We're having fun at the ballpark.
Indeed. Still waiting for that pizza, though. I had Jesse back here was supposed to hook me up. It happened. 2 outs in the inning. And here's Phillip Ervin. And he has had quite the night. Walk, run scored, home run, squeeze bunt, and an outstanding catch. And another high fly ball into right center field. Second home run of the game. Phillip Ervin touches them all.
Well, a get-ahead fastball on the very first pitch, and that is Ervin's hot zone up there. Loves the ball in the inner part of the plate, likes it elevated, and he's got a very quick bat. And that's a combination to give him second long ball of the night, drives in a run, and well, what a night for Ervin.
2 home runs, 4 RBIs. First multi-home run game of the career for Ervin. Third time he's had a 4 RBI game. And the batter is Dilson Herrera. Going to be a tough play, and nicely done by Spangenberg. The Reds add 2. 12-4 Cincinnati.
Fox Sports Ohio for Reds Live. That's brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. We will get you set for that day's game. Tomorrow afternoon, a 4:10 start. That means Reds Live hits the air at 3:30. Matt Harvey on the mound for the Reds, and Harvey going up against Irwin tomorrow. Harvey working for win number 7 of the season. Again, 3:30 for Reds Live. Jim?
Big thank you very much. New pitcher on for the Reds, 3rd of the night. It's Sal Romano. The bunch is a starter, now working out of the pen. And he will take the hill with an 8-run lead. And a nice job by Michael Lorenzen after DeSclafani goes just 4 and gives up 4 earned runs. Lorenzen goes 3 innings and gives up 1 hit, no runs. That's picking your team up. Top of the order against Romano. 0 for 3 nights so far for Urias. Base hit center field. And that'll bring up the dangerous youngster Francisco Mejia.
Sixth game in a row now that Romano has come in out of the bullpen as opposed to being a starter. He started 4 previous to that and then was kind of alternating between the pen and starting rotation back when the Reds had that 6-man rotation.
You saw Mejia 1 for 3 here tonight. Singled his first time up and scored. Hit the 2 home runs here last night. And in doing so became the first Padres player to homer in his first 2 at-bats of his first start.
Well, we know he's got a very quick bat. We know he likes the ball down and in. So now on an 0-2 count, we'll see if Romano is able to maybe expose a weakness here. Will he chase?
Broken bat. Jeanette climbs the ladder.
Got to time it perfectly, and he gets up there to do that.
Oh, I can just hear it in the clubhouse tomorrow. He'll be pulling us aside, talking about his ups.
The other good thing about that, though, is if you're Sal Romano, you made a really good pitch right there. And you saw the guy off, and it took an exemplary play on the part of your second baseman to make sure that he got rewarded for a good pitch.
First pitch low to Hunter Renfroe.
Got to be careful of right here.
A home run earlier in this game. He's homered in both games of this series. Peraza, 2 outs. Two-out batters, Eric Hosmer. Swing and a miss. Nearly swung out of his shoes. 0-1. Just below the knees.
You know what the Reds are hoping with Sal Romano is that his stuff plays up just a little bit more out of the bullpen than it did as a starter. You know, sometimes you see that when a pitcher can come out for short bursts rather than save himself for longer outings. Throws a little bit harder, a little bit more snap in his breaking stuff.
This one sprayed the other way and deep and gone. Eric Hosmer. 2-run blast. 14th for Hosmer.
It's the kind of home run that you will not get in San Diego.
Oh no.
You know, to hit him there, you're going to get him, but you've got to hit him normally really hard. And that ball kind of coming off with a high trajectory there, slicing down towards the left field foul pole.
And the batter is Jose Pirela. So a high-scoring affair here deep into the night. 18 runs combined between these two clubs. 22 hits combined. Padres have only left 2. The Reds have left 3 on base. It has been a slugfest. Look at that. What I got. Love it. Pirela lays off one low and away, and it's 2-2. Count holds at 2-2. Swing and a miss, blew him away. Padres get 2. 12-6 Reds.
Brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. We'll interview that man right there, Philip Urban. We'll have highlights. We'll hear from Jim Riggleman and so much more right after this one's in. Stay here. You're up already. Why not watch us? I'll have interviews and more right after the game right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Jim?
It's Reds Live After Hours coming up on the mighty FSO. Jose Pirela stays in the game. He's at first base. New pitcher, we saw him here last night, Trey Winginter. And Reds batting for what they hope is the final time. Scott Schebler, last time up, grand salami. And a new franchise record for team grand slams in a season. 10 of them now for this 2018 Reds club. And here's a hard hit ball, but right at the right fielder. Seeing it big right now. Ball smoked. And that'll bring up Jose Peraza. Jose 2 for 4 here tonight. And if you look at the leaders in hits in the National League, if I told you on September 7th before the season that Jose Peraza would be 4th in the National League in hits, many would have taken that bet. 160 hits now this season for Jose Peraza. Jeanette leads the National League in average. He's only Peraza 6 behind Scooter. Reds record is 185 hits in a season for a shortstop. And Hall of Famer Barry Larkin did that in the World Championship season of 1990. Down he goes this time, 2 outs. We told you about the interesting mixture in this game. The Reds with 12 runs in this game and 11 hits and now 14 strikeouts. It's the first time that's ever happened, meaning for the Reds this many runs scored and this many strikeouts. Back in May of 2006 in a 15-5 win, Reds struck out 13 times against Milwaukee. You never know what you're going to get from baseball.
Well, tonight you got a lot of runs and hits on the board. 22 hits, 18 runs between these two ball clubs. And with all that action, you know, only one 2-out base hit in the first inning for Joey Votto. Normally when the Reds are putting up these kind of numbers, Votto is right in the middle of things.
Straight up 12 midnight. And we're so glad you hung with us here tonight. Good morning, Chris.
Thank you. Good morning to you. Having a morning cup of coffee here.
3-1. Walked him.
You could just see it with Wingert. He gets that runner at first. He gets Joey Votto up there, and he's thinking, this is the great Joey Votto. I got to rear back and throw even harder than I can normally throw, which is pretty hard, and ends up walking him. So after that one extra at bat right there, they're going to take Votto out of the game. In fact, I thought that earlier in the dugout we had a shot where it looked like Jim Riggleman wanted to take Votto out when the Reds had the big lead, and I think that he wanted to stay in the ball game and get one more AB. In this case, plate appearance.
Brandon Dixon, the pinch runner for Votto at first base. They finally postponed that game, rained it out in D.C. Cubs and Nationals, they were in the second scoreless. And they waited around for a long time.
Well, they normally do out there at Nationals Park.
Sometimes. Average sitting at 318 for Jeanette.
Didn't we come out there a few years ago? I want to say it's about 5 or 6 years now, and ended a game somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 a.m.
in Washington? Yeah. Jeanette stays alive. We'll giddy up on that one at 98. Down and in, and down goes Jeanette. Off to the ninth we go. Ohio's been brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places. (12-6). We've reached the ninth. Jackson Stevens out of the Reds bullpen. Try to close this one down. 23rd appearance with the big club. And he will get Franmil Reyes, Freddie Galvis, Manuel Margot. Brandon Dixon stays in the game. He's at first. And Blake Trahan. Still struggling with that new pronunciation of his name. Not new, but new to us. He's at second base. Reyes is an interesting case. He is 1 for 3 here tonight. He doubled and scored in the 4th, but no player has ever hit 15 or more home runs and failed to reach 30 RBIs in a season. Right now, Reyes has 15 home runs and 23 RBIs. That is hard to do.
Well, you can blame it on his teammates for not being on base.
One-two pitch. One out. Milwaukee ended up beating San Francisco 4-2. So with the Cubs postponement, they'll pick up a half game in Central. And will enter tomorrow 4 games back. Galvis fouls it out of play. One and one the count to Freddie Galvis. We'll be back at it technically later today. 4:10 first pitch, we hope. It'll be a rainy weekend.
Well, I think it was worth hanging around here tonight, even though it's a 2.5-hour rain delay. Anytime you get a win at the end of the night, worth it, especially when you're looking up against some tough weather forecasts going into Saturday and Sunday.
No question. I told you earlier, Matt Harvey versus Robbie Erlin, 3:30 for Reds Live. 4:10 first pitch. And these two teams will close out a 4-game set Sunday afternoon. Down goes Galvis. Padres down to their final out.
You know, Jackson Stevens is a perfect example of a reason that you just can't look at a line of a pitcher and start to make judgment as to whether he's any good or not. You know, his earned run average is around 6. He sucked up a couple of games where he was left in there really just to kind of eat up some innings, even though they were knocking him around and all. But he's got some interesting pitches. They're kind of a sneaky fastball. He's got a very good curveball. When he finds that release point, it's a snapper.
Should be the final out. Suarez to Dixon, and the Reds have evened up this 4-game set at a game apiece. They double up the Padres 12-6 tonight here at Great American Ballpark. And we'll be back with more in a moment.